Hello and welcome back to Infinite E, where the entertainment is limitless. I'm your host Harsh, and today we have a special guest. Her name is Amrita, and she's my sister-in-law.
Hi Harsh, thank you for having me here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hey, you're the first person who said how I am. Everyone just says hi, but thank you. Anyways, let's get to back to the show. So today I was not today, but I was thinking long time ago. I want to do one episode about animated movies, and I know that your husband, my cousin, wouldn't want to do that. He wouldn't want to talk about it. It's not like his, cup of tea. And so I was like, I'll just have you instead because it's not only your cup of tea, but it's what you love the most. And so, yes, today's episode is going to be about animated movies. And we picked out, two classics and one that is going to be a classic sooner or later. Who knows when, but we'll be there. It's in that category. And our three movies, one's from Disney, one's from DreamWorks, and the last one's from Pixar. And so, before we go on to what the show is going to be about and what movies we have picked and what we think about those movies, let's have a little brief information about what you, as in Amrita, think about animated movies.
Um, I'll be very honest with you. Animated movies, I don't really like watching movies, and animated movies are the only kind of movies that I like to watch. Like I look out for them, and the reason why I do so is because I feel like I kind of connect with these movies at some very innate level. It takes me back to bedtime stories and the childhood tales that we heard growing up. And back then, it was more like getting into another world, escaping from reality. And that's what I feel even today. Because it kind of helps us to leave behind, our worries or stresses um, and just kind of meet characters that tell you so much about life, even though they are animated, so that is the paradox that I love. And I actually did some research about this, and I realized that this is not something that I feel. It's also something that reverberates across the world, and people do actually, and therapists do actually recommend people to watch animated movies so that they can get out of their zones of depression or any kind of mental fatigue. It can be countered therapeutically with the help of animation. So that I thought was really interesting because it had such a deep rooted meaning in it. And as much as it struck a chord with me, just on its own, but I was happy to read that there's so many benefits, of
Mm,
watching these movies. And they're not just for children, they're also for adults. It's for everyone, and for everyone who has a child within themselves, which is basically all of us, you know.
true, true. Totally agree with you. And before we head on to our three movies, I want everyone who's watching this or is listening to this podcast to subscribe, follow, like, and of course share. If you love Lion King, you will subscribe to this channel. If you love, what's it called, Mulan, Moana, you will follow me or follow us on on Spotify. And of course, you will also let everyone else share this video and tell them to watch them. But yes, let's go on. So our three movies. Our first one is the best one. It's a good one. I love this one. It's dear to my heart as well. It's how to Train Your Dragon. I was about to say How I Met Your Mother, but no, that's a different show. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that, and not in this podcast, but on a later time. But yes, How to Train Your Dragon. What's your thoughts on that? The whole series, of course.
Yeah. So for those who haven't watched these movies, there are three parts. The first part is called How to Train Your Dragon, and that was it released in 2010. The second part was How to Train Your Dragon 2, and the third part was The Hidden World. So
Hmm.
basically, I came across this movie on Netflix on a really boring day, and I don't really turn to Netflix otherwise. But I just thought I need some animation in my life at this point, and I went looking for a movie that you know would make me feel better. And I came across this title. It said How to Train Your Dragon. Um, the name itself was so amazing because it had to do with dragons. And because I'm a big Harry Potter fan, I've always been one. Um, dragons really made me think twice. Like I wanted to know what this was about. And at that time I didn't know it was a movie that was famous, or nobody had recommended it to me, nobody had told me about it, but I just wanted to watch it and I was hooked. Like I saw the first movie, and by the time I watched the first movie, the second one was already out, so I hadn't seen it when it just came out. I saw the first and second movies together, like, or I've been
Okay.
both. And then I watched the third one much later. But one part about this movie that I really really liked is the friendship. There's a theme of friendship that goes on throughout the movie, all the three parts, and it's so simple. Like there's no fabrication, there's nothing um over the top. It's just about two friends, and it will relate with anybody who has a pet. Because Toothless, who is the dragon in the series, he has this very simple charm about himself, and he's one of the most what do you call furious dragons out there. He's the night fury, and also the most sought out. Um,
Hmm.
and even though he is that a monster that they speak about, actually he's just another pet. He has all the qualities of a dog, of a cat, of a horse. I don't know, you can just mix all these amazing animals together, and there's Toothless, unlike any other dragon that we've seen in other series and other films. So that's where the series caught on to me, and I couldn't stop watching it.
That's not bad. But did you know that Astrid was actually made just for the movies? Like she wasn't. She's not in the book at all.
Oh yeah, this is actually the
In
series comes from a book, right?
It
Who's
comes
the
from a book.
author of?
The author is Cassandra Cowell, I think. That's who the author is. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Uh,
But
yeah. You can,
I heard
yeah,
also
yeah.
that it comes from a series of books, and
Hmm.
it's an interpretation of that. So that's pretty cool. And but that is something you see in a lot of movies that are derived from books, because they do tend to change a lot when it was I
Hmm.
mean, even if it was Game of Thrones, if you remember, there was a lot of difference between the books and the movies, and of course the books are still not complete. The series, not the movies, the series is over already. So I guess that's a common thing that you find between um, books that turn into movies.
Mm. And Toothless, of course, again, this is the last fact about Toothless in the book, because I want to go more about the movie and talk more about that. But from the book, Toothless is a dragon that's shoulder, like head height, head like the size of it is just like the size of the dragon is just like as big as a
Yeah,
head. That's it,
yeah.
like this big. That's it. But then in the movie, they just made him so big. Yeah, yeah. Toothless is just a small dragon. It's like as big as Pikachu, if you want to think
Oh,
about it that
I
way.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
That would be
And
so
it's a
adorable.
green dragon.
It,
hmm And it's a green
but then
dragon.
people get so black.
Toothless is supposed to be green.
One.
They changed it. They totally changed it for the movie, and I liked it. It's the first time, like, you know how sometimes they make like people when they make movies, they make such decisions when it comes from books that they change the book in a way. But then this is that one decision that even if they changed it, it's still the movie's just
Yeah,
wonderful. It's still
yeah,
brilliant. It's still
yeah.
worth to watch. And about more about the movie is that Toothless. Oh,
Mhm.
even though he doesn't speak for a like for like somehow dragons, of course they speak, or like they can mind talk with you with their minds telepathically. But Toothless, with all the actions and the movements, he just captures your heart. Especially when he did his first art piece on when they were in that little kind of not cave, but like in that little big well
Yeah,
kind of a thing. Yeah, and he did his
yeah.
first art piece because he was watching Hiccup do it,
Mhm.
and then when Hiccup's about to step on the line, Toothless, growled about it. He's like, "No, don't destroy my art piece." He's just so. Oh, I just love him. I just love Toothless. Like, he just captures
That's
your
the thing
heart.
about animation, right? That these characters,
Hmm.
they're so adorable in so many ways that you forget everything else and you're just admiring either the relationship that they share with the characters or just the way they are. It's just
Hmm.
so simple, and it's just basic. That's what I like.
Hmm.
It's not clouded with too many thoughts. It's not layered. Like you see so many movies. There are so many subplots, and there's so many different things that come together and kind of overcomplicate a script or a story. In these movies, it's
Hmm.
just lighthearted. Everything is just about
It is.
a simple aspect of life. So that's where I feel it really connects with me.
Hmm. And what else? What else do you like about How to Train Your Dragon? Like, there is there more? Is there anything else that you would like to add on before we move on to our
I
next
wanted to
movie?
talk about Night Fury and Light Fury. Um,
Go for it.
because I
Hmm.
felt like the stark difference between the two dragons was something so thought out, you know. So one represented the darkness, the other represented light. So in a way, when they come together, you see the best of both worlds, you know. And I don't want to give out any spoilers, but I just wanted to say that that relationship and how it kind of blossoms in the third movie is something that really touched my heart, because it's just easy on the eyes. It's you can connect with it. You can see what the two dragons are going through. So it was a nice way to put everything together in the end.
True, very true. And like animated movies, and also like especially with How to Train Your Dragon, like that's the big example. If you mute that movie, let's mute the
Yeah,
movie, like there's no audio in that movie, you will still understand what's
absolutely.
happening. That's
The
the
Yeah,
hmm
the
that's
storytelling
go
is
on.
so visual, and the colors, and the way they have made every frame. It's almost like a painting. It's like talking to you. So I agree
Exactly.
with you on that.
Hmm. And you don't even need to be like a zoologist or learn about animal behavior to know about how Toothless is feeling or reacting. You can just see how obvious it is, and how it's just there on its face and in his body language. Like, you don't need to learn all this. You can. It's just so obvious. Like the way that they've animated it is just brilliant. And also the other fact, I don't know if you've mentioned today is like facts and facts about animated movies, but let's go for it. So the last fact I learned is just that the animators had to go to flight
Oh,
school or some sort of flight school to learn about how flying works and the flying mechanics, the flying physics, just so they can like learn how dragons can fly or should be flying. And yeah, that's just so cool because especially how Toothless, it's not really a spoiler, but you know how Toothless loses his wing and his tail, the wing that he lost in his tail in the first movie, and when Hiccup made it for him, he made
Yeah.
a, what do you call, wooden version for him that he can use, that he uses with his leg to change gears in a way. That's like, you can see how much studying for the animators they had to do just to get that tail moving, the wings moving, and that mechanic to work, just so Toothless can fly. That just small details like that just make the movie even more
And yeah,
beautiful.
you can see that this is a reality. Like, you can tell somebody who is into the aeronautical world will be able to see how these guys have implemented technology within the film in such a seamless manner. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
so that's great because I think every project will do well only if the research is done right. So fact that these guys put
Agreed.
themselves in the shoes of the flight school whatever students, it shows
Hmm.
in the yeah.
Hmm. Totally agree. And one thing I learned from How to Train Your Dragon is that never judge, is again that thing, never judge the book by its cover, because all the people in the town were taught that dragons are bad, 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 because that's what they were taught, and then everyone started judging dragons in a negative manner until Toothless comes along, meets the night, meets Toothless. No, not Toothless. Yeah, until Toothless comes along, and Hiccup meets Toothless. Hiccup's a human, if we didn't mention this, but Hiccup meets Toothless, and then he sees, hey, everyone has it wrong. Dragons are actually nice. We were just taught to judge them from their looks and their behaviors, but they're just not that bad. They're actually just nice, creatures who want to live on their own and
But
have
that
their own
brings me to
life.
the topic of humans feeling entitled when it comes to the world. We feel like this is our home
Hmm.
and not the home of any other species, which is why we've treated the planet like that. There are so many animals going extinct, and that's also a learning that we get from the movie because we can actually peacefully coexist with, the animals that are endangered right now, but we haven't really still understood the fact that they are actually harmless and they just want to be left alone.
Exactly, exactly. And with that thought, let's move on to Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast, which is a Disney classic. And oh, before we move on, you can find How to Train Your Dragon on Netflix. And yes, I'm not being sponsored by any of these companies. I just want you guys to know. So when you want to watch for yourselves, you know where to watch these movies. So yes, How to Train Your Dragon is on Netflix. You can watch them anytime. All three of the movies are there. And so yes, Beauty and the Beast. It's your
Yeah.
favorite. It's on the list. It's what
Huh.
you grew up with.
So the
So
first
what?
time
Tell me
I
about it.
actually read Beauty and the Beast was in my school, and it was the most beautiful book that I've ever read. It really made me feel for the beast, for the beauty, and the contrast that they represent within the movie. And the theme of,
Hmm.
inner beauty and outside beauty, being shallow as a person. At that age, when I read about it, it kind of opened up my mind. Um, and then when I saw the movies, the animated movies, there have been so many Beauty and the Beast renditions. But the first time I watched the Disney movie, it stayed with me so much so that in school we used to have these annual dramatics events where it was just like you know um,
Hmm.
everyone in the school would have to participate, and it was house wise. You know how you have four houses in every school in India. So my house
Okay.
actually enacted the Beauty and the Beast, and it
Are you sure it was in India, not
it
in
was in
Hogwarts?
India. And
Okay, okay.
yeah,
But
it was
yes,
so
go on.
beautiful
Your
because
house?
the way we lived the movie. through that particular play. And since then, this particular story has made a home in my heart. And it had so many things to learn from. One thing
Hmm.
was that it made you believe in magic, and that is just something that has stayed with me forever. I We face so many hardships in life. There should be something that makes you want to believe in the better, in the good, in the magical world that exists somewhere. The fact that it can reach us through these movies is what makes these movies so special to me. Especially Beauty and the Beast. It kind of teaches you that while the beast made a mistake in the beginning, where he did not let the old woman take shelter in his house and got cursed for being shallow and whatever. I felt like
Hmm.
when he was cursed and he turned into the beast, everyone around in the house also turned into inanimate objects. So, because that is the way he looked at people,
Mm.
he, I don't know if, that makes any sense to you. It was almost like the beast's subjects were losing their humanity in a way, because he never saw them as humans. And that's why we had Mrs. Potts. We had the little cup, the chipped cup, who did not give up and actually saved the day for him as well. So there was so much goodness in the people that he had completely, disregarded. And that showed because of the curse. That is what I found really interesting in one of the bits in the story. Another important thing that I realized was that in the beginning of the film, there was the old woman who he did not allow into his house, and so he got cursed. So he was basically not wanting to let um, just a form of a person into the house. So it was just his drawback. And when Belle enters the house, and Belle is French for beauty, um, she kind of he was wowed by her, obviously, right? And then he did not want her to leave the house. So again, that was the same challenge that he was facing when Belle then had to leave the house because her father was unwell, or so she had to go take care of him. He was in danger. And um, at that point, uh, he completely changed, and he let go of the one thing that he was cursed with, and he let her take her humanity and her emotions and accepted them as well. So it was such a stark difference in personality and the way, the outlook to the things that he saw. um, I thought was really really amazing as a paradigm shift in the story.
Totally agree with you. And it's just interesting how they created Beast. Like Beast had different animals mixed in him. Like he is part buffalo, part lion. He had tusks of a boar, body of a bear, legs of wolf. And at the end of the day, the only thing that was human was his eyes. His eyes had that human kind of characteristics.
Yeah,
Everything else was part of an animal of some sorts, but his eyes. It's just that then from an audience perspective you can then connect, you get to see that connection, you get to connect with the beast because of his eyes, and then you see that humanity that he has. Even though he's animal, you can still see that humanity in him through his eyes. So that was pretty interesting, that how they've added that in.
yeah, I agree that was a really nice thought, actually, because I didn't realize that he was made of all the different kind of animals, but the one thing that mirrored his soul were his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and that those were human. So that's actually a great way to interpret it.
Mm-hmm. And overall, it's a great movie to watch as well. Like everyone should be watching this, even if you've not seen it, please go watch it. If you have seen it, please go watch it again
Mhm.
because it's always good and nostalgic, and perfect to always go and watch back again and see things that have changed or you think have changed but they're just still the same, or pick out like little Easter eggs throughout the movie because Disney's famous for that. If there's one thing Disney and Pixar are famous for, are Easter eggs. They always put little things of their old movies into their newer movies, and you get to be like, oh wow, I didn't see that. I didn't catch that the first time. But yeah, overall the story is just fantastic. Just seeing how a man turn a beast. A man goes to beast form due to what things he has done in the past or what things that he's been judged for, and then later on seeing how he then goes overcomes all at least obstacles to then change from that whole beast to human. And those kind of movies are always the best ones to watch because there's a lot of those kind of movies out
Yeah,
there where you always see that rough kind of that villain kind of a thing, and that guy's a baddie and all that, and then all of a sudden he just has that change of heart,
yeah,
and you see that adventure throughout the movie, and the things that he has to climb or she has to climb. It's just amazing, and it just fulfills you in a way. It feels wholesome, I would
and
say.
I also wanted to tell you one more thing that I noticed back in the day, because this is such an old movie. It's like you said,
Hmm.
it's a classic. But this was the first story where the princess actually saves the prince. Back
Mm,
then.
that's an interesting
So
fact.
it was quite nice to see Disney kind of put themes of women empowerment in the movie. I don't know whether that was done without realization, but it just like
Mm,
now that I'm thinking back, it feels like it was one of the first movies that kind of foretold the future of storytelling in a way, because they were reinventing the wheel and trying to introduce the women characters through a different lens altogether. So that was also an interesting part of the movie.
indeed, indeed. And also that she's the one who doesn't come from royalty. Like her family lineage doesn't come from royalty. She's a second princess, I think, that doesn't come from royalty. And as well, she's the one of them that's under 20s or in her 20s, that still in her 20s. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
Yeah,
interesting how they have done
yeah,
this. And I don't know if you knew this. I don't know how deep into Disney and Pixar lore you are in, but I don't know if you knew this, but Belle and Jane Porter. Jane Porter, for many of you who don't know, or if for you can get a, what do you call 'em? Just to remember who she is, just like a little bit of a run up for that. Jane Porter is the one from Tarzan. She's the girl from Tarzan, the one that Tarzan
yeah.
falls in love with. So they're saying there's a theory out there that Belle and Jane Porter are actually related.
Oh,
So Belle is her like great or great grandmother or something like that. And if you see it in a way, Belle's father and Jane Porter's father are both crazy. Both Belle and Jane like wild humans and want to like wild men, I would say, and want to change them back, show them the right way of doing things, taking them back, changing them into
yeah,
humans again, or like bring them back to
yeah,
humanity. So who knows, they actually could be
yeah,
related. And there was an Easter egg out there in Tarzan where one of the gorillas was drumming on the Beauty and Beast tea set. So like Mrs. Potts and Chip. So like the photo, like the tea set themselves were there, and then the gorilla was just drumming on that. So hey, who knows?
yeah.
They both could be related.
Yeah, I mean that's again such a revelation, but uh, quite interesting.
Hmm. So yeah, if you don't if you feel like you want to watch the movie again and you're done with the story, but you guys like the audience, you guys can just like find the movie, watch the movie again just to see all these other Easter eggs and just to find out what um what makes this movie great, and just to tell us also in the comments below that what you think the movie, why is this such a great movie, and that'd be a good thing to for us to read and learn about later as well. So let's go to the next one. Oh, again, I keep forgetting doing this. This is hilarious. I keep forgetting. This is the second time now. I hope I don't forget for the last one. All right. So for people who want to know where to watch, Beauty and Beast is on Disney Plus, and yeah, go check it out on that. And so for the last movie, before I keep forgetting, I'll say this: the last movie, it's Coco. It's a Pixar movie, and it's a great Pixar movie, and it's also another one that's dear to your heart. Isn't that right,
Yeah,
Amrita?
so again, Coco was something I watched Coco in the cinemas, and I went in with no expectations because I
Mm,
just wanted to watch a movie that kind of makes me feel um, a little connected to myself. Um, and as you know, we all have something or the other going on in our minds that we want to escape from all the time. uh, when I entered the cinemas and I started watching the movie, uh, it was amazing from the first scene, and it was celebrating life and death at the same time, and also family, you know. So there was a kind of sadness and melancholy throughout the movie, but it was told with so much humor, which is really something that is not seen otherwise. I think it also won some
mm.
awards, right? Did it?
Of course. For animation and for, uh, I think for
Yeah,
song.
because
Yeah.
the songs were beautiful. The storyline was it just started from a place where you felt like, okay, there is something brewing here. There
hmm
is a guy who is not interested in the family business. Such a real story, but told with so much heart and so much passion. That is what I loved about Coco.
Same. Man, just hearing that makes me want to watch Coco again. I it just gets me excited. Coco is just it's just brilliant. Like especially like when he
Yeah,
goes back and
yeah,
meets his own family. Just that it's always the family thing gets me. Gets to me.
yeah.
It's just wholesome that it's always
Yeah,
family.
exactly. And it
And
kind of plays on nostalgia, on memories, and also the relationship of Coco, the grandmother, with what is his
mm,
name, Miguel. It was
mm,
a really
mm-hmm,
cute relationship, and even though she's so old and frail and can barely move, but she still remembers um her the love of her life, and she still tries to
mm-hmm,
talk about that, whatever she went through in her life. I don't want to give out any spoilers, but it kind of makes you think that there is a life beyond you know death, and it's
mm-hmm,
it's just that overall it makes you feel like it teaches children how to accept the concept of death. So, like, even for parents who would like to explain to their children, this is a great way to show them that there is this part of reality also.
mm-hmm. True. Very true. And isn't it based on Cinco de Mayo, right? If
I
I'm not wrong, or the Day of
think
the
that
Dead or
is
something?
called
Yeah, right.
Dia de Muertos.
Dia de Muertos. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes. Not Cinco de Mayo. Yes, and yeah, just the art style, just the artwork.
exactly.
Just it's the most colorful movie after Well, yeah, one of the most colorful movies. Even like Rio, if you know Rio, the movie Rio, that's also another colorful one that I found. But back to Coco. Coco is just so wonderful. Just like it's just beautiful. The colors, especially when they go back, when they show you the afterlife part, and just seeing the colorful colors there, it's
Yeah,
just brilliant. And as you were saying, yes, the old grandmother. Oh, since like you can see how far the animation has gone, that the details on the skin, like especially for the old lady, like the wrinkles on her arms, you can see all that, and that's just so clear. I mean, I don't know why I'm talking about this part, but it's just small little details. Again, as I said, that brings and lightens up the movie. You don't notice it, but if you try to notice them, they're just it just fulfills the movie even more. And as you were saying about the story wise and how she remembers, right? That's the thing. That's the theme
yeah,
in that movie. Remembering, remember your family. Never forget. Doesn't matter if they're dead or alive. Always remember them, and that's like the biggest recurring theme in that movie.
yeah,
Just remember who they are. Always, yeah, they've always been there for you, even though you never saw them. Just
exactly.
remember them because it will bring you joy. Is basically what they're saying. Of at the
Yeah,
end of the day, it's gonna bring
yeah.
you joy.
And there's so much to learn from their mistakes. There's so much more to life than than we imagine. Because it's such a dark, deep subject overall, but it's set with so much love, light, like you said, colors, and it actually makes you imagine that how would it be like, and um, you also think about how you are actually surrounded by your loved ones and you just don't know it.
Hmm. That's very true. That's very true. Is there any other statements or any other facts you want to share about the movie
um
before we head
More than
on?
anything, I don't know much about the facts. It was just a feel good factor, and that I
It
feel
is.
resonates throughout, or throughout this movie, from the first scene till the last, and it it does bring some joy to you. At the same time, it does make you rethink so many things that you have completely, kind of taken for granted in life. So
Hmm.
it's just a way to reflect and rethink about all the things that have been handed out to you, and makes you appreciate everyone around you, and that's what I took away from the film.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's that's beautifully put. That's very beautifully put. And man, you got gets me even more
Yeah.
excited now when I go watch Coco. I'm gonna be like, it's just all hyped up. So now with all this, energy after this, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
watch Coco for sure. You just convinced
No,
me, like
absolutely. You
again,
and
to watch
I think we
Coco.
should watch it together.
Yes, yes, we should. Yes, but before we go on and think of what we're gonna do after this, let's get to another exciting part of this show and the last part of this show. We were going to have another movie. We were gonna talk about it. It was gonna be a big out of the box kind of a movie compared to the three movies that we talked about now. Um, but we'll save it for another day, another time. But instead, we'll play a game because apparently not I thought, but you thought it would be a wonderful idea, and I said, why not? It gets me the views. I'm happy. People listen. They love listening the game part. So hey, I don't mind. My shop is working, so why not? Let's go with that. Um, let's go with the games then. So it's a game that you came up with. You had an idea for. Not really
Yeah,
came up with. It's a universal game, but it's just more like let's see what the other person thinks about certain things that's all related to um, animated movies. So let's then begin. Is there any rules or regular? No, yeah. Is there any
there
rules you want to
aren't any
explain?
rules as such. It's just that You, I will give you a word or a movie name, and you just have to tell me what you think
Hmm.
about first. So without thinking, in a few seconds, and we will then see how the movie made you feel.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you
Um, how's this? You're the guest, so you'll go first. I can't be that one, you know. I can't be that guy. Anyways, so let's start then. So we're gonna go with 10 things that I want to say, and then what
yeah.
your reactions to it, right? Basically. Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's start by the things. I'll start with two, three things that we talked about. Okay. Uh, how to Train Your Dragon.
Magic.
Hmm, okay. Uh, Belle.
Beautiful.
Now I wonder what you think about Beast. Then, all right, Beast.
Lovely.
Okay. Okay. Um, let's say, oh, the chicken from Moana.
I don't remember.
Oh,
I watched the movie, but I don't remember the chicken.
all right.
Oh,
Then
while ago.
let's change it to the dog from Coco.
Heartwarming.
That's true. Um, I can't think of anything else. Oh, Lion King.
Um, Makes me want to cry. Like,
Scar. What about Scar then?
um, great storytelling.
Mm, mm. Uh, Andy from Toy Story. Andy's the human who owns all the toys in Toy Story.
Um, can't take this long, right? Um,
No.
I'm taking too long for this.
Yeah.
Um, let's say cute.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Jebaya. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's my cousin. But yeah, hey, you got competition. Uh, how many do I have so far? I have. How many do I
I have
have? Okay.
a pen for you waiting, by the way.
Oh, okay. But I have said okay. Interesting, interesting. I think I have two, three more. I have three more. I'll go three more, and then we'll go to your turn. Ka, the snake from Jungle Book.
Scary.
Mm. Um, what about the orangutan, King Louis from Jungle Book?
Uh, I don't know.
All right, let's change it then. Let's change it to Jafar, the villain in Aladdin.
Cunning.
Hmm. What about Cruella de Vil, the one from Dalmatians?
Dalmatians. Again, made me a little nervous.
Okay, and I think I got all 10. Yeah, I got all 10, or I might have more than 10 or less than 10, but that's fine. That's fine.
It's okay, we're not
Let's.
counting.
Yeah, I wasn't counting. I was just so into it. I was just so into the game. I was like, let me just throw this out. Let me throw that out. Let's see what she thinks. All right,
Okay,
it's all
my
you.
turn now. Okay, the first one. Frozen.
Cold.
Your name.
Oh, tears, tears.
Witches versus the machines.
Um, heartwarming or wholesome, actually wholesome.
Moana.
Um, adventurous,
Despicable Me.
cunning, but like the good, laughable kind of cunning. The sly, the happiness, just everything was just slick. Yeah, so slick cunning.
Space Jam.
Oh man, classic, big classic. But Space Jam. Okay, okay. Um,
The one with
sporty. I think sporty. Yeah.
Peppa Pig.
I kind of want to say annoying because It's just a fun fact. I studied in London, so I have relatives there, and I have a nephew. I have two nephews, and they both love Peppa Pig. All you hear is that song, the dun dun na 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 dun na 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 Peppa Pig. I mean, it's annoying, but it's just yeah. I'll just say annoying. I'll say annoying.
Penguins.
Um, Smart.
Shrek.
Layers. Onion. It just made me feel like I have layers as well. I guess.
Kung Fu Panda.
I like man, you got better ones. I should have had more time on this one, but okay. Kung Fu Panda. I know. Food can solve almost can teach you everything. Food can teach you
Yeah,
everything.
so I wanted to end with this one because this is so you.
Oh, yeah. I think I should. Yeah, I should tell my dad this. Like, oh, yo, if you want me to learn something, just feed me.
Exactly.
I'm sorted.
Food has all the answers, especially a Xiaolong Bao.
Oh, I know. I've not had one for like for a while now. For a while, like from Din Tai Fung, I've not had one from Din Tai Fung for a year. But yeah, one day, one day. I know I live in a country that Din Tai Fung was invented, and I haven't had one for 1 year from Din Tai Fung. But from other like the corner shops and all those places, I've had Xiaolong Bao. But yeah, I need one. I need it. But yes, thank you so much. Before we end, I would any closing statements. Anything else you would want to
I just
add on?
wanted to say that from this game that we played, the one thing that really came out while we were talking about, the word association and how what we felt when we watched these movies and characters was mainly heartwarming. It was a feel good factor, and which made me think that emotions play up every time you watch animated movies, and it stays in your heart whether you know it or not. And subconsciously, you know that this is where your heart is, within
Hmm,
the film, within that character that has so much to teach you. So I just wanted to end on that note.
that's amazing. That's wonderful. And I know you told me not to tell this to people, but hey, I'm gonna put it out there. Please go follow. Please go follow my sister-in-law on Instagram, Tasting Tales. She writes blogs about food, and trust me, if you love food, you will be reading these, blogs, and you'll be reading these posts, and you'll be going on Instagram, seeing all those photos, seeing her food adventure, because she's moved from India, and you'll see all that adventure, and then now she's in Hong Kong, and you'll see all that new adventures she's on, and she's always made me jealous from all the foods that you've been posting. Each and every one of them just makes me hungry, especially that avocado toast with that egg in the middle. Oh, come on. So yes, please, 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 everyone who's listening to this, go follow her. I'll put the link down below so everyone can
Thank
check it
you
out.
so much. And thank you for having me here. It was such
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to talk about all things that we connect on. And I'm just happy to tell everyone about our experiences. So thank you for giving me this
Yes.
platform to talk about what's so close to my heart.
Thank you for emptying out your schedule and coming onto this. I don't know how much big of a schedule, but no, you have been busy. In true honesty, I should be thanking you instead. Like thank you for coming onto this show, even though your family, Coco, right? So even though you are family, everyone will do anything for family. So thank you so much. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.